How are you? How
Hold
are
on, let
you
me see if I
doing?
can figure out how to turn. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn on my camera here. Hold on, I'm on my cell phone. I'm at a buddy's house right now. I had to use my phone, download it and stuff. Give me 1 second.
Oh, you're
Let's
you're
see.
perfectly fine,
Oh,
Sam.
all right, and
Man,
here I
Hey,
am.
here we go.
that is so
What?
crazy.
Dude,
Yeah, man.
it's amazing. Amazing to meet you.
Absolutely, man. You guys hit me up. I was like, you know what? I give these guys credit. Let's do it. Let's do this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We greatly appreciate it.
Ah, absolutely. So what's going on with you guys? How long you guys been doing this podcast?
This is
Uh,
episode 4.
yeah,
Oh,
this is the fourth week.
I'm lucky number 4. Look at me. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
first
Lucky.
interviewee.
Yeah.
Um,
Really?
Yeah, first person we've had on.
Look at you. You guys are winning. That's awesome, man.
we really are. We really are. It was so crazy that when I reached out to you, I was in a not good place. Like I just had a couple of
Well,
things that didn't feel like I was going through or like going
yeah,
good with. And I was like, you know
we've all
what?
been there.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, the worst he can
Yeah.
say is no, you know? So I reached
Absolutely.
out, and 30 minutes after that feeling, you said, "Oh, sure, just send me the link to it and I'll check it out." That
Yeah.
skyrocketed everything. I
I love that.
I shit you not, pardon my language, but
Nah, that's okay.
the next day when I went to work, I told everybody about it, and they
I
were
love that.
they were so happy for me.
So, man, I'm happy I could be a part of you feeling better. It's a good lesson in shooting your shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you said, man, the worst thing people could ever say is no. And then what? Then you're doing what you were doing anyway. And then
yeah,
the best case scenario, they say yes, and here we are. You know what I'm saying? So that's awesome, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jordan, he reached out and he was like, "Hey, I was actually on a trip and I looked over at my phone and saw he was like, I can't believe this." I'm like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "We have somebody for the podcast." I looked over and I looked over and I told my wife, I was like, we got somebody come on the podcast." She goes, "Oh, who?" And I was like, showed her, your TikTok and everything. And she was like, "I've seen his video." And then like I
Love
did the
that.
same thing. My younger brother, I was like, "Yeah, we have somebody from TikTok joining us." Um,
It's awesome.
and he was like, "I've seen that, yeah." So we very, very excited for like the past, I don't know, like few days about this. Like been just been
Love that.
waiting for it.
Listen, I actually like I love podcasts. I actually before I really started making videos, I had uh wanted to do a podcast. I didn't know what I would talk about and all these things, but as I started to grow in popularity with my videos, I was like, man, it would be really cool to be on some podcasts. And it's funny, like as I started thinking about that, you guys reached out and I was like, you know what? Call it fate. Let's do it. You know what I mean? I don't care if they have 0 followers, 1 million followers. Let's be on this podcast and just talk to some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and
well,
again, we're grateful. We're super happy to have you on.
absolutely, man.
That's
So yeah, where you guys from, man?
I'm
So
from Mississippi.
I'm from South Carolina.
Nice. Okay, I love that. I could hear like the little bit of twang you guys got. You know?
Yeah, that was something that I
What?
was worried about.
What are you worried about? Having an accent?
Well, nah, because it's like I know that my southern accent isn't there, but like I know that the more that I talk fast and whatnot, it gets more noticeable to say the least. And like
What?
I'm assuming you're from Brooklyn, around that area.
Well, I'm actually very close. I'm right over the bridge there. I'm in Staten Island. That's where I'm originally from. I live in New Jersey now, but I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York. I actually still work in Staten Island. I'm there all the time. But yeah, I grew up there, and then it came time to buy a house. And I don't know if you guys know about like the housing market in New York, but houses are ridiculously expensive. So I looked over in New Jersey, found a nice house that I could afford, and said, "Screw it, let's go over there." And here I am, and living a nice life.
Yeah, the housing market in South Carolina is not really, any better. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
Why? You know why? Because everybody from New York is moving down there. You know what I mean? And they're paying top dollar for all the houses, so it's just making all the prices go up. You know,
Oh yeah, oh
you
yeah.
could blame us. You could blame us for that. You know?
Yeah. That's the only good thing
Yeah,
about not being an active adult like you two. I don't have to worry
yeah,
about all that stuff.
yeah. You'll get there, man. It creeps
Yeah,
up
yeah.
on you. You know what I mean? You sit there, you go,
Sadly.
I'll be a kid. I'll be a kid forever. You know? And yeah, I'm a pretty like I'm a fun-loving dude. I like to have my fun and be childish, but there does come a point where you just got to be like, hey, man, I just well, I want to live a nice life, and there's certain things you have to do in order to live the life you want, and a little bit of growing up takes place. And you know what? Now that I'm here, I'm 32 years old, and I have a house and a job and all these things. It's like it's not as terrible as you thought it would be when you're young. You're like, oh man, that sounds terrible having all these responsibilities and having to be a grown up. But it really, once you embrace it, it's really nice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, like you were saying, just as a kid, it's like, oh my God, the bills and all of that. Like I don't have money now.
Yeah, yeah,
But like, it's not terrible, I pay what I gotta pay and
yeah,
kind of live
absolutely.
life
Yeah.
and happy.
What's your guys' day jobs? What do you do to pay the bills and pay for microphones and headsets and shit like that?
So I'm a teacher.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm a teacher.
You're what?
I'm a teacher.
What do you teach?
I teach middle school. I teach sixth, seventh, and eighth grade.
I'm a middle school teacher.
Get out of here, bro. That's why
I teach. I just sixth grade, but I do social studies.
I teach. I teach video editing. I teach kids how to make videos. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's like a minor track program. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
it's perfect for me. I mean, it's what I'm good at. It's what I like to do, and a position opened up where I could teach something I actually know about. Because like I taught science for 4 years, and I know middle school science and all that, but it's not like my expertise. And did that for 4 years, and then a position opened up where I could teach um, film editing, and I was like, I'm the guy for the job. My principal was like, "Yes, you are," and then I hopped right in there, and it all worked out. And on top of that, like I have a TikTok and Instagram and all that, and all my
Mhm.
kids know about it, so they're excited to come to my class and like see me in there and doing my thing. So it's fun, man. You know.
Right. Speaking of your TikTok,
Yeah.
how was it when you first broke? Like, what was your major milestone in your opinion? Like your first one?
So the first milestone, let's see. So it was kind of a. Let me just kind of give you like my story of how I got to where I am.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, So I started out on YouTube during the pandemic, like a lot of creators on TikTok at this point, because that's really when TikTok kind of got popular. I was on YouTube during the pandemic. I was actually doing these videos. They were walking tours, and I would just go around Staten Island, my hometown, and my channel was called The Real Staten Island. And I just went from doing long form content, vlog style, just had a camera, went from place to place, showing people like, hey, here's where I used to go when I was a kid. Hey, this is Snug Harbor. It's a really historic town that, a lot of cool buildings are at and all these things. And, just kind of week by week was releasing those. It started to do pretty well. I got to like 1,000 subscribers, which was for me like I might as well have been like Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, wow, look at me. I have 1,000 subscribers. I'm the greatest person on planet Earth. You know what I mean? But I'm kidding. But so I had that going on. It was doing pretty well for somebody who had never really uh, had much success in there. I had always been making videos since college. I was probably around 18 or 19 when I started making videos because I got a MacBook for the first time and it had iMovie on there. And you were finally able to take like cell phone footage and put it on your computer. So I would do that. I would use my webcam to like film myself doing stuff and edit it together. And it just kind of naturally progressed into, just me wanting to explore it more. And then the pandemic came around years later. There was a lot in between that, of course, but when I really started to take it serious was during the pandemic because I had a lot of free time, you know? So I had all this free time and I was like, you know what? I got to do something. I can't just sit in my house. Um, so I grabbed a camera. I went around, started making these videos while I was walking around Staten Island. They started to do well. At the same time, TikTok starts getting popular. Um, a friend of mine is like, says, "Hey, Sam, TikTok's pretty popular. You should think about making TikTok videos." I was like, "Oh man, TikTok, that's for kids." You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting on there. That's stupid. Everybody who uses it is stupid. I don't want nothing to do with TikTok. You know what I mean? Just trying to pretend like I wasn't curious about it in the first place and like already wanted to make one. But him saying it was kind of like the thing that made me go, you know what? Why not? Why not make some TikTok videos? So I started out by just posting clips of my YouTube videos on TikTok. And this was really the turning point for me where it became like, wow, there's something to it. Because I posted one video. It was this video where I'm walking into the train station in Staten Island. And do you know what video I'm talking about?
Yes, I
Because
do.
yes. So I walked
Yeah.
to the train and I happen to have my GoPro on me that I'm filming with. And it wasn't planned or anything. I've had a lot of people like message me like, "Oh, that's so staged." I walked into this train station. There's a lady standing on the back of the train. So I go to ask her, I'm like, "Hey, which train goes to Tottenville?" And as I ask her, I'm telling you, the second I said Tottenville, I finished that last word there, the train starts moving. And she's like, you would have had to get on this one and then got off at Jason. And I was like, oh man, damn it. Okay, I'll get the next one. She's like, okay. I'm like, thank you. She's like, no problem. That video got like 1 million views, in like a day. And it wound up getting like 5 million views overall. And I was like, when I had 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I think the most successful video I had 3,000 views. And when I got those 3,000 views, I was like, wow, that's crazy how many people have seen that video. 3,000 people, which it is. That's a lot of people. But when you see 5 million, it's a real eye opener. You know, I was like, wow, clearly there's something to this. Clearly, I have somewhat of an eye for what people might want to see, what people would enjoy. Let's explore this further. So I started making more and more videos. Um, I was making a lot of Staten Island based content where I'm just, you know, making books that are relevant to Staten Islanders and all these things. And I got a following to about 20,000 followers, which was pretty good for just, a locally based channel. But then this was another turning point was when have you guys seen my videos where I use the toy train?
Yes,
Have you
the
seen
crazy
any of
trains
those?
Yeah.
or
I,
zany trains.
yeah, yeah. The zany trains. So the reason I mention all the Staten Island stuff is because it's connected. So some guy DMs me one day. He's like, "Hey man, I love your Staten Island channel. My name's Zach. I'm from Staten Island. I make these toy trains. They're called the Zany trains. I was hoping you could show your Staten Island followers that I have these trains from Staten Island." I was like, "Absolutely, bro. Like, my channel's about Staten Island. You're a toy maker from Staten Island. Of course, I'm going to show it to people." He gives me these trains. I'm like, give me one of each. Get me a train set. I'll see what I could do with it. I had no plan, no idea what to do. He gives it to me. I meet him. He gives it to me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, what the hell am I going to do with these trains? You know what I mean? Like, what? I have no idea. I even when I was a child, like I didn't play with toy trains really. Of course, I played with toys and used my imagination and all that, but I never really had a toy train set or anything. And I was like, what am I going to do with these? Am I just going to make a commercial like, hey, you guys should check out these zany trains? Okay, have a good day. So I'm sitting there brainstorming. I set them all up on a little toy train set, like a little train track. And I'm like, man, what if they just had a conversation with each other? What if we had all these little characters just talking to each other about stuff? And I did some voiceover, wrote some lines, had clipped it together. Video got 1 million views. I was like, oh my God. And not only that, it got 1 million views, but it had a lot of engagement. Like a lot of people were commenting on it and liking it. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
what you guys will learn as you grow is the biggest thing for content is watch time. That's really all that matters. Like likes and comments and all these things. Um, they're great, and you want them as far as building your fan base for sure. But as far as views goes, and if TikTok and YouTube and Instagram is going to push your videos, it's really about, are people watching it? Because it could be a video that somebody doesn't like. You know what I mean? But if they're watching it, that means there's something about it that people want to see. Um, so I noticed that it was not only getting views but a lot of engagement. So people were really into it. So I made another one and another one and another one. And then I got into the idea of like, okay, what if I had topics for each video? This one I'll talk about pizza. Okay. This one I'll talk about bagels. This one I'll talk about potato chips. This one I'll talk about Chinese food. And then that started to do even better. I started to get like, when I was making the first set of toy train videos, I was getting average be 100,000 to 150,000 views. Once I started having specific topics, I started averaging about 500,000 to 1 million views. And, I was like, okay, there's something to this. There's something to this. And I kept making these toy train videos. It was all me doing every single voice for the 6 trains. And then it got to a point where I was like, man, these videos are getting a little stagnant. It's in the end, those videos, if you go back and watch, it's really just, aside from the ones where like I have my character Teddy on top of the toy boat, just kind of sailing along there, they're really just toy trains sitting there. Their mouths aren't moving, there's no animation to it, there's no props in the videos. It's just literally a picture of toy trains and me talking over it. So I was like, man, viewership started to go down because it was just such the same exact thing every single time. I was like, man, how can I make these videos a little more enjoyable for, you know, someone to want to watch again and again every time I post a video? So I thought, what is it about these videos that people are truly enjoying? And I started thinking maybe it's not necessarily the toy trains themselves, because that's what I thought in the beginning. I was like, sure, like they like the topics and all that, but I think they like that it's these toy trains having talking about these topics. And then I really thought about it. I was like, I think it's the conversations that people like. I think people like hearing opinions on food and the way I happen to say it, you know? Um, so I said, you know what? Let me try this concept. This is where I get to where I am today. Um, this was the real breaking point right here. You asked me earlier, like, what was the turning point? This was the real one right here. I had the toy train videos. I said, what if I made these exact videos with people in them instead? With human beings that can talk and move their hands and be eating food in front of them and sitting at a table having a discussion like most people do, you know? And once I did that, I tell you, I started to explode, you know? I'm at about 1.4 million followers on TikTok. I'm at 260,000 on Instagram. And most of that is from when I started doing the videos with people in them. And here I am now, you know?
Yeah,
It
that
really kind of worked out.
that actually gives me a very good question. When so I started to watch your videos when you use the zany trains, which also that
Sure.
is a very, very cool, just odd circumstance how the
Yeah.
creator
It
of
was
them.
it was it was all luck, man. I have no doubt that like I would eventually figure something out, but I have to say, the way my channel is right now, the format that I use, I owe it all to my friend Zach. His name is Zachary. Um, I owe it all to him reaching out to me and telling me, "Hey, I have these crazy little trains that I make. You want to show them to your followers. I have no doubt that, like, because I really wanted it as well. I really wanted to be successful on these platforms, and I really wanted to make videos, you know, that everyone enjoys. And so I had no doubt that eventually I would figure something out. But the way my channel is right now, the format of videos I make, I owe it all to that that chance encounter, that random DM. A guy shot his shot and it worked out, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah.
and when you switched over from the trains to people, in the videos, you're actively eating and or drinking the drinks and foods that you're talking about. I know that some of those brands you actually don't like. Are you just like are you taking clips of you fake falsely eating or drinking those and then spitting them out?
No. For the most, like, listen, I'll say this. Not every single video that I've made, like the brand that I'm talking about, is my favorite brand on planet Earth. But any video that you see me talking about, like, there's at least one flavor that they make that I enjoy. It's just that there's, you know, what makes my videos really relatable to a lot of people is that, I'll have multiple opinions out there for people. So I'll have like upwards of 6 opinions, and I'm not going to like all 6 of the flavors or brands that I talk about. But in one way or another, I at some point I have to say, okay, like, I like these two, like Doritos, for example. I made a video about Doritos, and I love the nacho cheese Doritos, love the spicy chili, the sweet chili Doritos. Could care less about Cool Ranch Doritos. You know what I mean? But I used that as a way to kind of work it into my video and make it fun, because I was like, okay, I'll have this character like Cool Ranch Doritos, but I'll have the other 2 characters make fun of him for liking Cool Ranch Doritos. You know what I mean? So
It
you kind of play around your strengths and weaknesses with that.
is that how you get the ideas for Teddy? Like, because he's the one that has a majority of the like unpopular opinions with
So
foods.
we have Teddy, who has the sunglasses and the Hawaiian shirt, right? He has more of like the wild and out there opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like Teddy puts honey and sprinkles on his pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Teddy eats cereal and uses Arizona iced tea as the milk. You know what I mean? And then we have Terry, who has the green shirt, who sits at the front of at the head of the table. He usually does like the taboo thing, or likes the taboo flavor of whatever, or does something in a way that people like find odd, even though it's really not the worst thing you could do. Like Terry is the one who uses a fork and a knife to eat his pizza, and Terry's the one who cooks his burgers well done. When, like, it's okay to do these things, but as society, we kind of judge them a little bit for it. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Mhm.
I kind of use those characters to play on those societal taboos and things like that. So, and it makes for a fun video, you know.
Yeah. Um,
So
and go ahead, Drew.
Drew?
I wanted to ask you, now that I actually know your background, your day job,
Sure.
which is crazy that we're both teachers.
Yeah.
So I've been following you for a while, um, and the more heartfelt, the more like the mental health, like it's gonna be all
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Um, does that stem from your career as a teacher, or is it something that like you just thought about? Because we were talking before,
Yeah.
we talked about how it's a good representation of mental health, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's also doing a really good job of spreading awareness for men's mental health.
Sure. Yeah. So, I gotta say, when I started making those videos, like, it wasn't really something I had in mind as far as like, you know, being a spokesman for mental health or anything like that. It just kind of blossomed into something that was relatable. The very first video I made those was the one where I had myself in it, and I'm playing the guitar, and I had Teddy come out, and he's upset, and he's like, "Hey, Sam, you ever get sad about anything?" Like he's just the kind of person who doesn't really know how to deal with his emotions and feels alone. And then I had myself kind of comforting him, letting him know, like, hey, I'm also upset right now, but there is to deal with it. You do things that make you happy, like playing guitar. So when I wrote that script, it was really just like, I don't, it's funny, like, I don't even know what I was thinking when I wrote it. I was just like, wow, this seems like it would be a really nice video. I feel like it would be really nice to see this interaction. And when I made it and I posted it, and I saw all these people talking about, oh my God, I've felt the same way. And I got a lot of DMs about like, thank you so much for making this video. It just made me want to make more videos like that, you know? So it didn't necessarily stem from teaching. It was just like I happened to be feeling a certain way. And when I'm feeling that certain way, it kind of inspires me to kind of think of a dialogue, and it just turns into the video that it turns out being. I did one where, you know, uh somebody feels like they have all these regrets. I did one about uh when you like a girl and she doesn't like you back. All these things that we could all relate to. You know what I mean? And it's kind of comforting. The thing that I've noticed that why people love it so much is because it's relatable. Like a lot of people have felt these feelings before, and even if they haven't, they could kind of sympathize or empathize with the characters feeling what they're feeling right there. So those videos, like, it's nice to break it up every once in a while. You can't be funny all the time. You know what I mean? You can't. Life isn't like that. You're not just, you can't just smile and pretend everything's okay all the time. It's okay to just feel things and talk about them with people, and reach out to a friend and things like that. So that's the reason I like making those videos so much. So
I
yeah,
mean, they're like I said, I like all your content, but
yeah,
those seem to really find me on those
yeah,
days that it's kind of a struggle.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, and like you said, like you've gotten plenty of messages and comments and stuff, so it's awesome that you're able to do both
Yeah.
sides.
It's funny you said that, and I appreciate that. Thank you. It's funny you said it like that because that's a majority of the DMs I get on Instagram, with praise, like people thanking me for my videos. A majority of them say exactly what you said, and it's something I didn't expect. It's like they say, "I love your funnier, more silly, comforting videos,
Hmm.
but the ones I love the most are the more serious ones." And it's like, you know it's counterintuitive. You almost would think the opposite is true. And if I'm being honest, I think the reason for that is because so many people are making just like silly videos like the ones that I make. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
like not a lot of people are really tapping into that more deeper side. And it's just nice to see it. So I think that's why people like it so much. I'm happy to make, so I'm just gonna keep doing that, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I personally, whenever I find a majority of your videos, I will say when I first found you, it was like one video every 3,000 videos on my For You page, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after I reached out to you and after that whole spiel happened, it was video after video after video after
Yeah.
video on my For You page. And it was
Yeah.
really crazy at
That's how
first, but
yeah.
then
Uh,
it
Thank
was it
you.
was just the food conversations at first, and then
Yep.
the more serious ones started to appear,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just like Drew said, and just like everybody who DMs you about them,
Yeah.
I personally prefer the funny ones because it's so fun. Like
Oh,
a
absolutely.
majority of them are like Terry. I definitely have a majority of his views. I will admit.
Absolutely.
Um, but like
Absolutely. Yeah.
the more serious ones, just like Drew said, tend to find me on the days that I need them. Like the
And
one that
I
really
love that.
helps me, the one that really helps me is the one where Teddy comes up to you while you're playing the guitar. Because it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
why should
absolutely.
all this anger be directed towards myself? Why not put the flow into something else?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, and I appreciate you guys saying that. You know, because it's a little on, on on my side of the fence. It's like, it's scary to put yourself out there and let people know that you're feeling a certain way, and be a little vulnerable, especially on the internet. And then to post a video like that and everybody be so kind about it and tell you how much they enjoyed it and even thanking you for making it. I mean, that really helped me a lot. Those videos help me just as much as they help other people. Not to sound all like, Hollywood about it. You know what I mean? It's just like sincerely, like making videos and seeing people that also relate to them. It helps me in a way. So it's great to hear you guys say that. But I also
Mhm.
like the silly videos. That's my heart and soul. You know what I mean? Like those videos are like what got me to where I am, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
fun and comforting. And like that, that's the biggest thing as well. Like if you watch those videos, right? Like you go watch even back to the trains, like before I started using people in them. Like the people in the trains, like the conversations they're having. Sure, there's a joke every once in a while, and it's funny. Like I'll have a little zinger here and there. I'll even be writing and be like, "Wow, that was good, Sam." But for the most part, the reason people like them is because they're just like comforting to watch. You're just kind of watching these dudes talking about food, being a little ridiculous, and it's like throwing on your favorite TV show at night. Like that's really the feel of those videos. So I love making them for that reason. I like that they're just like something comforting to watch and relax to.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely say that that's how I feel about them personally.
Yeah,
I definitely,
absolutely.
and I will say, although, I don't know a whole lot of people from Staten Island or New Jersey, your
Mhm.
voice is very comforting. Like,
I appreciate it. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. And a lot of my students say that as well. They're like, Mr. Alkhatib, I love your class, but sometimes you're speaking and I want to like take a nap. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? You're just speaking so soft and nice. And I just want to like I feel so relaxed when I'm in your class. I've always heard, you know, and I think that mixed with like my little bit of a New York accent just kind of like gives my voice a uniqueness that people want to listen to. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's
yeah.
just something nat- something natural that happened that I benefited from.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Well, it appears that we are running out of time, and I'm sure that you are busy.
I actually do have. I'm at a friend's house right now. I'm like upstairs in his room right now while he's downstairs waiting for me. Boys, this was really fun, and honestly, I would do it again if you invited me. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm going to follow you guys back on Instagram. I wish you nothing but success. I hope the next time I see you guys have a billion subscribers and you enter Tom Hanks or something. You know what I mean?
I I am very grateful for that. Uh, and I don't know how to put it in words, but you actively saying that you would be joining the podcast, explosion in my heart, almost like I just found a new love. I am
I love
so
that more than
grateful
I
for it. I am so
love that I
grateful
can
Yeah.
for
do that.
you.
Of
Uh,
course, boys.
and thank you for not only taking time out of your very busy schedule to just talk to us Southern no lives, but also delaying whatever business you have with your friend to talk to us.
That
Yeah.
those pieces of garbage could wait. You know what I mean? No
Ah,
problem at all. Boys, thank you so much again for having me. I,
Yeah,
I'm I'm very serious when I say reach out again. I'll be on sometime. All right.
that's awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Take care of yourselves.
You too. Bye, Sam. Wow. That was the Sam. The
That
Sam.
was awesome.
Oh my goodness. Such a
That
nice
was
dude.
down to earth, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Well, that was yeah.
oh.
That was probably the most eventful of the four so far.
Yeah. I mean, the only way from here is up. And not only that, we also have his own wishes for it. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Um, yeah, I think that went really well. Um, I'm really happy that he was down to like basically his whole story, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
The
like shared that with
odds,
us, like how he
the odds that he is also a teacher is
oh yeah. That was
mind-boggling.
when he said that I was like, there's no way, you're lying to me.
Um,
Where
it is so crazy. Uh,
it is. It is insane, but it is just it's awesome. It's awesome. And again, we said it to him, but I know we're both happy. And grateful that he decided to join us. Um, I keep having to move my I mean, they can't see my camera, but you can see my camera. But I have to keep
yeah.
moving it because it's like I'm checking the time to see how much we have left.
Oh no, this is
Zoom
perfectly
calls,
okay.
man.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're about to have to stop, Sam, if you are listening to this right now, thank you so much. I know I already said it before you left, but thank you so much for joining. It would be even more of an honor to have you on later. Uh, I still have a whole lot of questions. Um, but to everybody else listening and or watching the NPCs on Brawlhalla fight, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for continuously being here.
And you know what? Go not that he needs us to do this because, he's already got, a following, but go follow him on TikTok and
Oh yes.
watch his content because if you haven't and you have no clue about basically, or the second half, yeah, just you go check it out because it's awesome. Like he was saying, the silly ones they're funny, and then the ones that are more emotional, um, they can definitely help you out, make you feel a little comforted or whatever you need to feel on days that you're not feeling your best. Go look at his stuff, and it's awesome.
Yes, I will put a link to whatever his Instagram, Twitter, or not Twitter, TikTok and YouTube all into the description. But again, thank you all so much for listening, and hope to see you next week. Bye bye.
See ya.